All righty. So let's just look at a few things here. Do you remember the banning of gas stoves?
The conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a huge conspiracy theory about that on the right, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
They thought, somehow they came up with this wild idea that suddenly the government was going to try to ban gas stoves, this thing that had been cherished by every foodie on the left.
Yeah, I know.
This entire time.
This is CNN. This is how they reported on it. They were kind of jokesters with it.
Oh, good.
The Biden administration has come under fire this week due to an overcooked fear that it's planning a nationwide ban on gas stoves.
That's precious.
The claim sparked by comments from Consumer Product Safety Commission official published Monday that any option is on the table when it comes to regulating gas stoves amid growing health concerns over the appliances. There is no growing health concern. None.
None.
Okay. In the days after discussion online evoked images of government dragging its 4-burner cooktops from homes and social media users sharing memes of gas stoves with a text like, "Don't tread on me."
Those stupid
Well, the
people.
White House said it would not support a ban. And the commission and independent agency says no such ban is in the works. Okay. Well, apparently, you have to go into the way, way, way back machine to remember a month ago when they said, this is a conspiracy. An analysis published earlier this month, President Joe Biden's Energy Department acknowledged that roughly half of all gas stoves in the U.S. market today would not meet its proposed cooking appliance efficiency regulation. E&E News reports on Friday, as a result, these stoves would not be eligible to purchase, says the Energy Department. Energy Department spokesperson Jeremy Ortiz dismissed concerns over the proposal, saying half the gas stoves would remain if this standard is finalized as proposed.
So only half of them would go away?
That's
okay. That's first of all, not even worth commenting on.
Right.
If only half of all gas stoves are going to go away, it's a total conspiracy theory to even bring it up.
Right.
And I assume that's exactly where it ends.
Well, the Energy Department's admission comes roughly a month after U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commissioner Richard Trumka told a Biden appointee, said to people, a gas stove ban was on the table. It's a hidden hazard. Any option is on the table.
So that was the
products that can't be made safe have to be banned.
That was the genesis of the conspiracy theory when the guy said it.
Yeah, that was the genesis of
that. Seems like a pretty good conspiracy theory when the person's actually saying the thing that the conspiracy theory is stating.
Yeah, now you were right. Only half.
Only half. You'd have the other half.
The Association of Home Appliance Manufacturers is arguing the proposed rule would prohibit a much larger proportion of gas stoves from being sold. It's not even really worth mentioning.
52%.
These people are crazy. They've got some other agenda, big cigar smoking types, The vice president, who clearly smokes a cigar, Jill Notini, pointed out to a December Energy Department test of 21 gas stove models, all but one of those models failed to meet the proposed rule's efficiency standards.
So about half.
No, she says that shows that it would nullify about 96% of the gas stove market.
So you still have the other 4%.
4%.
What a gift from our government and our betters to allow us to still have those 4%.
Right. Right.
And what a conspiracy theory it was to say they would be banned. There's still 4% of them left.
Yes.
96% go away. Sure, but 4% remain for a limited time. And that's
right.
So it was a conspiracy theory. They were right.
And we're not sure about that 4%, but, probably.
Possibly. Maybe.
Now, this is just something that is just a growing concern. This is all organic. You pull back the curtain and you'll see, 3 guys standing there who founded Rewiring America. But that's just an environmental, advocacy dark money group. Nothing to see there. Really.
Started from the grassroots.
Well, not really, they're the ones behind the push to regulate and get rid of gas stoves. And they seem to have a significant financial stake in the green energy push.
What?
Yeah, they started Rewiring America. They funded Rewiring America in 2020, and they all pursued wind, solar, electrification, and energy efficiency ventures. So they put millions of dollars into this, and if they can just get America off all fossil fuels, they'll be rich. So, and they're hauling in all kinds of money. It's great.
Just moving the percentages to, so let's say, half would go a long way to make them very, very wealthy.
Yeah, but imagine 94%.
Yeah, that would be even better.
That's their goal. Their goal is to get us entirely onto electricity. And
that's, of course, produced by elves. That electricity.
Of course. Yeah, you've seen the Keebler elves. Yeah. They stopped making cookies. Sorry, guys. Stop making cookies. They're not making energy.
Okay, good.
Now, there is another unfortunate story. Our electric grids, which are kind of shaky to begin with, they can't connect to all of this green energy. They won't have the capacity for doing that.
Oh no?
So yeah.
When do we address that? I would assume after we live in how many years of darkness. We turn off the fossil fuels.
Well, the local grid won't be at capacity when we turn off all the fossil fuels. So then it'll be okay. But we won't produce enough energy for us to actually live, let alone power our cars.
If we adjust our life slightly,
yeah.
Maybe we don't
a little bit.
leave the house and we're
a little bit
more clothing in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Wear a sweater.
All
That's
your layers.
Very American, you know what I mean?
People love that sort of advice.
Yeah.
Is this, Glenn, to bring back an Obama-era term, an example of stray voltage? Do you remember this concept? It was an idea that the Obama administration tested widely on us as experiments where they would intentionally introduce a concept that was wildly out of the conversation, right? Gas stoves should be banned. Knowing, and in fact, depending on the controversy that would ensue when that was introduced, everyone's going to be like, wait, what the heck are you talking about? And what typically would happen, and this is essentially a way for them to convince their own side of something they would not normally do. But what would happen is, of course, people on the right, Obama's enemies, would say, wait, what are you talking about? That's crazy. This is what this administration wants to do. And we would all get up in arms. And just by nature... the left would take the opposite side of that.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you'd go from 0% support of getting gas stoves out of homes to 40% support, because all of a sudden everybody, it's, people like Glenn Beck, who on the left, they may not be as fond of you as so many of us are. They would look at you and say, well, if Glenn Beck is taking that other side, there must be something to this idea. And while they're sitting there denying it the whole time that they even came up with it, they wind up going from 0% support to 40% support. And then over time, it becomes this argument made now by people like AOC. It actually is a big health concern. It actually should go away. How come you don't know that? And over time, it builds and builds and builds until their policy that they wanted the whole time actually is in place.
Okay, so that used to be called the Overton window, but the Overton window did something slightly different. The Overton window is this political concept that you have a spectrum of ideas, and the window is kind of here in the sane area. It hadn't been there for a long time. And somebody will say, we've got to ban all gas stoves. That's nowhere in the spectrum of ideas that the window is now showing. It's so far over that the window can't even see it. But the argument pushes that window because people start arguing about gas stoves, and then eventually you get half of gas stoves banned, and they get that as their win. That's not what's happening here, because they're going to go for the total ban on gas. In this article, they are talking about gas dryers, gas heaters, all gas appliances gone. All of it. That is the goal. And so they don't want just half of it. They want all of it. What's happening now, and I don't even know what you call it, I call it the Lewinsky. And it's something that we've talked about on this program many times. It's what happened to Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. The world is arguing, the political world is arguing, he did it at the very beginning. And it's impeachable. No, he didn't do it. He did it, and it's impeachable. He didn't do it. He did it, and it's impeachable. He didn't do it. Then, after months of that, then the dress comes out, and everybody now knows he did it. And the argument is, he did it, and it's impeachable. Yeah, he did it, but it's no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening.
Giving me flashbacks.
Right. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Gas stoves are going to be banned. No, they're not. Yes, they are. No, they're not. The very next argument is gas stoves are being banned. Yeah, they are, but they should be.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
It's not an Overton window anymore.
To combine this all, stray voltage is a way to move the Overton window so you get the Lewinsky. That's
Is that what stray voltage is?
Yes.
I've never heard of that term.
I think you have heard of it. We've talked about it years ago. But it was something I want to say the first person I ever heard talk about it was Major Garrett, who was talking about the Obama administration years and years ago. And it was just this idea of introducing these things intentionally. Like you'd think the gas stove thing did not work short term for the Biden administration, right? It was something that was rejected by a lot of people, over half. I mean, it was not a close call,
right?
But it introduced it into the ecosphere, and while they got that pushback initially for the controversy on it, and they had to come out and deny it and do their dances. Over a long period of time, they got a win there because they will move the Overton window. And all of a sudden, the conversation is about, well, maybe we should be banning them. Let's look at the evidence. Let's bring that into the conversation. And eventually, it gets to the point where they say, yes, we do want them banned, and it's a good idea. And that's essentially that movement that we were talking about in the woods. Just a bunch of terms we're just combining here.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
it does work. I mean, and this is what they do all the time.
It's what they did with socialism. Remember Newsweek? Was it Newsweek or U.S. News and World Report? I remember it distinctly. We did a story on it on my Fox News show, and it said, we're all socialists now. It was right after the election of Barack Obama. And I held that up, and I said, they are admitting that they are socialists, that we're all socialists now. And the media went crazy and called me a racist and everything else. They don't deny socialism now. They don't deny it. It's what they were. This is something so critical that it's why I'm asking you to call this hour and just take a list. I don't need to talk to him necessarily on the air, but take a list of all of the things people are calling about. What are the things that they have said, the media and the government has said is not true? For instance, we found out that, now the Department of Energy agrees with the FBI that looks like it was a lab leak. All of the things that they have discredited and punished people. It's not that these things are just mistakes. Oh, they got it wrong. People get things wrong all the time. We get things wrong. This is things that they lied about and punished anyone for saying. And now, once they all start to become true and they admit it, we have to hold those people responsible because they have caused great damage and great pain. And not just to the people they canceled, but to the republic itself. That has caused the division. What is the division? We can't even agree on vaccines. We can't even agree on what's safe. No, we can't. Why? Because you won't have a conversation about anything other than your way or the highway. That's divisive. So when you're canceling people because we're saying, hey, this is a problem, and you cancel people because they say that and then later come back and go, yeah, that was right. But what? Are you going to check yourself? Are you changing the way you do business, the way you look for truth? They're not, but we should.